Hi everyone, this is Courtney with Little Black Homes on the Prairie. I am so glad you're back, or if this is your first time joining us, thank you for being here. Today I am just going to chat a little bit about our journey in becoming a bilingual homeschool family. So let's get ready. Okay guys, so like I said, today I'm going to talk about our journey to becoming a bilingual homeschool family. Also, I am filming this outdoors, so you're probably going to hear some trucks, some sirens at some point, and I keep trying to move so the sun won't be on my face, but no matter what I do, the sun shifts. So that's happening as well. And you know, I'm not a videographer, so if there's going to be some background noise, it's just going to be there, you know, so just power through all of that, okay? So why I want us to be a bilingual family. This journey starts back when I was a kid. I was homeschooled from kindergarten through 7th grade. And so there was one point in time where a couple families came together and our parents hired a teacher to teach us Spanish. And I just remember it being amazing. I have no idea what she taught us, but I feel like that was my first experience hearing another language and being like, what is this? This is amazing. So when I was probably about 9, I volunteered at a preschool, a Spanish immersion preschool, because I wanted to learn Spanish. So I was homeschooler, you know, 9 years old, go volunteer at the preschool. So I would go up there. I remember I was in the classroom with the patitos, and I just thought that was so cute. And after that, I just was constantly looking for ways to learn Spanish. So fast forward to high school, I had the same experience I'm sure most of us had. I took 4 years of Spanish, just did the basics, conjugating verbs, spelling tests, things like that. Didn't learn any conversational Spanish, just basically memorizing vocab words. That's what we did. That's what it feels like we did for 4 years. And but that 4 years made me want to learn more. So when I went to college, I wanted to minor in Spanish, and I did minor in Spanish for 2 years. But at I guess my 4th semester, we were assigned this book to read, and this book was, I might be exaggerating, but I feel like it was like 300 pages, and it was a Spanish novel, and maybe like a Spanish type of Shakespeare. I don't even know. I just remember trying to read the first chapter, and I was just like, no, I cannot read this book. Like, I cannot read this book and then write an essay in Spanish. Like, I can't even comprehend this on any type of level. Like, I couldn't read this in English, let alone in Spanish. And so I dropped it. I dropped the class and I switched my minor. Obviously, looking back, I wish I wouldn't have, but it is what it is. Also, I'm gonna move because the sun is in my face. Okay, move this camera. So that was college, and after that, I continued wanting to learn Spanish, looking for different opportunities. And you know, I live in the Midwest, and I'm not making that excuse for why I haven't learned Spanish. I'm just saying the opportunities, I think, look a little different. I went to college in Miami, and so when I was in school, I heard Spanish like all day, every day. It didn't matter where we were. We could be on the beach, be in the city, be at the grocery store, be on campus. Like, I constantly was hearing multiple languages, not just Spanish. All my roommates spoke, other than freshman year, all my roommates were bilingual, and that really lit a fire under me, because where I was from, people typically weren't, well, the people I was with were typically not bilingual. And so to be in a place where people spoke more than one language, I was the oddball, just speaking English. So that helped to open my eyes to this whole world that is multilingual. And I want my kids to have the experience of being multilingual. And I have yet to meet a person who says, oh, I really wish I didn't speak 2 languages or 3 languages. Like, who says that? Who says, oh, I hate that I speak more than one language? No. People say, I wish I understood this, or I wish my grandparents would have taught me this, or, you know, oh, my parents speak whatever language, I wish I knew it too. No one says it's a bummer knowing more than one language. So I want my kids to speak more than one language. Me and my husband are both monolingual, so this journey is a family journey. I am not bilingual by any means. My Spanish is rudimentary. I would not say that I'm a beginner when it comes to Spanish, but I would not say I'm not a beginner. I would say that I can conjugate verbs. I can throw some very rough sentences together. I'm sure my tenses would be I'd be in the wrong tense. Like, I'd be trying to speak in present tense, I'd probably be speaking in past tense. So, that's where I'm at. I know words, vocabulary words, but that doesn't really help you a whole lot if you could just say a word. So I'm learning alongside my kids. And I told them that, like, we're learning this together. We're doing this together. And so pushback. Here's the pushback. My 7-year-old is like, this is weird. This is strange. No one else does this. And so I've been trying to tell him, like, baby, where we live, maybe no one else does this, but like the rest of the world, people speak more than one language. Like, the majority of the world is multilingual, and it doesn't have anything to do with how much money you have or your status or your class. Like, language is a free gift. And so he's the one who is really not, he's not on board with this yet, but when we do hear someone speaking Spanish, she comes up to me and whispers, it's like, do you hear them? They're speaking Spanish. I think they're speaking Spanish. So if nothing else, he is becoming more aware of Spanish around him, which is a win in my book. My 4-year-old, she's all about it. She thinks this is amazing. I'm going to talk about some of the podcasts that we use, but anyway, she's completely on board. And then my 18-month-old, obviously, he doesn't really have a say in this. However, the few phrases that I know, I speak to him and he does understand them. And the words that I use repetitively, I think that's what I'm looking for. I use them a lot. He knows what those mean. So let me just hop into what that looks like. So this is the book that has really helped us. It's called Becoming a Bilingual Family. And this has been amazing. I will do a little flip through of this, but basically the whole premise is, and this lines up with some of the research that I've done, when you're learning a second language, it helps to learn what is applicable for you and your family in your situation. For instance, I have a toddler, so I need to be able to say, are you tired? Are you thirsty? Do you want a snack? It's nap time, things like that. Like, those are the phrases I need to know. I don't need to know, like, do you want to go on a tour? This is my favorite building. Like, I don't need to know, like, tourism Spanish. I need to know toddler Spanish for him. For my preschooler, I need to be able to say, did you get dressed? Have you brushed your teeth? Are you ready to make up your bed? Like, these types of phrases are what I need. And so I needed some type of system where I was learning phrases, like, not words, but phrases that had to do with them. And this book is amazing. Like, there's a whole section about getting dressed, about waking up in the morning, about setting the table. One that's all about preschool, like, do you want to color? Do you want to sit down? Are you ready to read? Are you ready to listen? Do you want to hear a bedtime story? So this book has been amazing because it's phrases, and there's not really in the back there's a little bit about the grammar breakdown, but most of it is like, jump into speaking phrases. It's okay if you don't do it correctly, like, just do your best. And what I've read is that if you can speak 30% of your day in another language, like, your children will pick it up. Now, we don't speak 30% of our day in the language because I don't know that much Spanish. However, that's my goal. Like, that's what I keep working towards. And so we use the same phrases every day. Like, I say buenos dias to them every morning. I say como amaneciste, like, how did you sleep last night? And then when we're in the kitchen, like, every morning, I try to say whatever we're eating in Spanish, like, oh, fresas or manzanas or naranjas. Like, I try to say the fruits in Spanish. And then we always say, like, tienes hambre, tienes sed, like, are you hungry? Are you thirsty? And then they ask, can they have more drink? Like, puedo tener más agua? So, like, we try to use this conversational Spanish, these little phrases, but it relates to my kids because I'm not teaching them, like, let's talk about going to the moon, because that has nothing to do with them. It's just, these are the things we're doing every day. And so when I change my son's diaper, I'm always like, voy a cambiarte el pañal. Like, I'm just saying, like, we're going to change your diaper. I said, then the kids say it. So that's how we're learning, is by speaking phrases. Like, I'm not teaching them, like, the alphabet in Spanish. We do count in Spanish, like, when we're doing things, but I don't have any written, like, cards or anything like that. Like, we're not doing any type of memorization in that form yet. So this book is something that we use. Another thing that I did was I replaced my toddler's board books. So I'm sure everyone has board books, you know, for their baby, for their toddler. I replaced his with Spanish board books, and so this was for multiple reasons. One, it helps me to read in Spanish. Two, it helps him to hear in Spanish. Obviously, he doesn't read yet, so it helps him to hear Spanish. Three, it helps my older kids to pick it up, and my son, who can read in English, he's looking at the words in Spanish and trying to sound them out. Like I said, he does not know the Spanish alphabet yet. I haven't done that with him. And with my daughter, since she's learning to read in English, I'm not doing the Spanish alphabet with her either, because I don't want to confuse her. I want her to just like be able to hear and listen to Spanish and speak Spanish, but not be able to read it yet. So this was the easy step. We got these different books in Spanish, and I will do a separate video just about that. But anyway, all of his books are in Spanish now. Some of them are like Spanish and English, but all of his books, I replaced them. I bought my books on A-Books, so these are all used books. I did not buy anything new. And I tried to use our local library. We're blessed to live in an area where we have 2 library systems. We have like it's not a county, I don't know what it is. We have like a city library system, and then one that's like a multi-county library system. However, they don't have that many board books in Spanish. So I decided it'd just be better for me to buy them, because by the time I was like putting them on hold, driving to different locations, I was like, I'm not doing this. So 8 books, these are probably $3 or $4 each. So that's what I did for him. So all of his board books are in Spanish. I had a couple other resources that I use. So this, I have a very good friend who is bilingual. So she had got this for, which kid? For my daughter, probably 3 years ago. Yeah, so we use this. My daughter flips through it. We talk about the pictures, and like I said, she's almost 5, but you know, this is simple, and since she's learning it, she really likes looking at the photos, and then we talk about the words. So this has been a great resource, the first 100 words in Spanish. The last thing, or the last type of book I'm going to talk about, are books that are English and Spanish. Like I said, my 7-year-old is not sold on speaking Spanish. However, if I find books that have English and Spanish, he's more willing to look and read it. And so, Señorita Mariposa, like we talked about butterflies for a while, so I got this book because it's in English and Spanish, and it's a great book. Another thing that I have been doing is using podcasts. So for the kids, they listen to Eat Your Spanish. It's a great podcast. It's like a husband and wife. They write their own music, then they create these lyrics for the kids, and they do it basically like by subject. So this week we've been listening to the Days of the Week one. And so we've listened to it every single day. We listen to it in the car or at home, like right after breakfast and before we start doing any type of like structured school. So the kids love that, and even my son, he will ask for that. So I love their podcast. I support them on Patreon. They're amazing. And if you're trying to learn, most of the podcast is in English, and then the songs are usually in Spanish. And so the wife like speaks Spanish and the husband speaks English. And so the podcast is made as if she's like teaching him. And then they do have kids on there like singing with them. So Eat Your Spanish is a great podcast. And then for myself, I listen to the DuoLingo podcast. So DuoLingo has an app where you can learn lots of different languages. I have used their app before, but because it's not personalized, it doesn't really work for me. I'm not saying that it doesn't work. I'm just saying for me, it didn't really work. And then because I do know some Spanish, I was taking me a long time to like get through all the levels to get to the Spanish that I didn't know, and so I just kind of got bored with that. So, but the podcast is amazing. There are true life stories from the Latin American world. So whether it be somewhere in Latin or South America, Central America, Spain, they have first accounts, and these stories are amazing stories. Like there were stories about people who were stuck in a mine. There have been stories about people who've gone to Antarctica. I heard one about a lady who got in some type of accident, and so then she was in a wheelchair, and then she went through this, I think it was in Spain, like some amazing course on her wheelchair and got stuck, and people rescuing her. Like the stories are fantastic. They did a series on like the great Argentine heist that happened, I don't know, maybe let me not lie. It happened, and it was really cool. So I recommend that. The Spanish is slow and it is simple, yet it is engaging, okay? And then they have someone who she jumps in for context, and she speaks in English just to let you know like a little bit what's going on, or if there's like a word that you're just not used to hearing, like bank heist or robbery, like she says what it is in English. So I highly recommend the DuoLingo podcast. I wouldn't let my children listen to it just because some of the content is for adults. Not that they would really understand what it is, but some of the content is more adult appropriate. But if you have like middle schoolers or high schoolers, I'm sure there's plenty of stories that are appropriate for them. So that's something that I listen to, and the stories are short. And then the last podcast that I listen to is Cuentame, and the lady, okay, let me get this right. I believe she's from Mexico, but she lives in America, and she's a Spanish teacher. Her episodes are extremely short. They're maybe 6 or 7 minutes long, and they oftentimes focus on current events. So if there's a holiday coming up, she talks about the holiday. She talks about how it's celebrated in America, or maybe how it's celebrated in Mexico. If there's a Mexican holiday coming up, she talks about how it's celebrated in Mexico. She talks about daily occurrences, so like going to the dentist or the weather changing. She did one on her allergies because the seasons were changing. So she does the podcast in Spanish, and then she tells you some of the words in English, and then she plays it for a second time and she speeds it up, and she just does it in Spanish. So you get to hear the same content twice, but like I said, it's like 6 or 7 minutes long. So it's great just for a quick trip to the gas station or grocery store. You know, you can just listen to those. So yeah, that's called Cuentame, and she's excellent. So that's what we're doing right now. We don't have a specific curriculum that we're using right now. We're just building a foundation of familiarity with Spanish, and just hoping that my son, who's 7, will start to like it and want to learn more, because I know a lot of learning is just having an interest in the subject. And so when you have an interest, then it makes it more enjoyable, and even if something is challenging, you are more likely to stick with it because you enjoy it. So I'm hoping that's what he will do. If you have any if you have any tips or any advice for us in learning Spanish, please put it in the comments below. If there are any apps or books that you have found to just be encouraging or support your family as you learn Spanish, or if you are a Spanish speaking family, let me know. What do you recommend that we do to help us learn Spanish? Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I appreciate your support. You guys are the best. I hope that you continue to enjoy your summer, and I will talk to you next time.